All right, well, we are back at the IHSBCA convention. One of our final interviews of the day, but saved one of the best for last. We got Coach Bogda here, Brian Bogda, Crystal Lake South, won a state title in 2017, made it back to state in 2022. You know, ever since I've been doing this back in 2015, it seems like Crystal Lake South, you can mark 20, 25 plus wins every single year, no matter who's on the roster. You're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to be well coached, and really appreciate you taking out the time. I know you're a instrumental piece to this IHSBCA convention in general. So for you to carve out some time with us, want to get on here, can't thank you enough, Coach. And thanks.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. So last year, coming off a 21-14 season, looking at some of the key players lost here, there's one on here who's definitely, I would think, going to leave a pretty big hole. Dayton Murphy just did a little bit of everything, could really run the bases, top of the order type of bat, and flat out play shortstop.
Scored a lot of runs for us for sure.
Yeah, and James Carlson. So you can speak on them, and then what you're looking to do here to replace those pieces in 25.
Yeah. So Dayton last year, he obviously was a 4-year starter for us. He's going to be a huge loss. He's a once in a lifetime player to coach, and he's competing at Michigan State right now, for playing time there. I think, one thing that happened last year is he got hurt in the middle of the year, kind of the second series in our conference, and Carson Trevelini had to step in and play as a freshman.
Okay.
And so he got a lot of experience that, I don't know whether we knew, we knew he was going to play it somewhere for us, but we didn't know he was going to, have to take the role at shortstop. We figured Dayton would be there. So Carson got a ton of reps for us at short and finished out the year there. So I don't know that you ever replace a guy like Dayton Murphy, but you do feel confident with a kid like Carson and his abilities of what he can do. I'm feeling good about that. James Carlson, talked to him over winter break. He's doing great at Youngstown. I think he's going to factor as their fourth outfielder, and they sent him down to Driveline for in Florida for a little while, and they changed his swing a little bit. So I think he's competing. Yeah, so I'm excited. We got some younger guys coming back. We got 10 seniors, 200 innings on the mound. So I like where we're at.
And you're getting right to where I wanted to lead to is let's talk about some strengths, because it sounds like Dayton Murphy, he did a lot. Carson Trevelini, you mentioned it, like he should be ready to at least take that next step.
Right.
And you can't replace Murphy, but hey, he's a pretty good shortstop in his own right. But where does the strength of this club lie? Is it on the mound?
Yeah, I think so. I think there, and I just think, having a lot of guys that stepped in and playing some key roles last year for us. We had 4 freshmen playing in our regional last year, and so whether they all end up playing, all the time with us this year or not, but they have had that experience. So I think we have experience not only on the mound, but we have experience with this team. Guys like Xander Shevchenko, who is going to go to Elmhurst, is a 3-year guy. Yandel Ramirez going to McHenry County College is a 3-year guy for us. I think those are the type of guys that will help lead. Liam Sullivan's going to go to Loris, and Christian Alter hasn't made the commitment, but I know he's just good.
He's close.
It's a formality next week. You'll get that information. He's going to go to Arizona Christian out there in NAIA school out in Arizona.
Okay.
So I feel really excited with that group in the lineup, and then you add some younger guys, like Carson and Nick Stolwasser's a name. Trevor Walker. Those are some guys that played for us last year. I think that you'll see will help us out this year.
Yeah, I love it, because you're throwing out a lot of names too that we're not super familiar with, and that's why I love doing this. I've learned so much just from talking to these coaches today, and there's about 5 names. I'm gonna have to go back and cross-check and see what's going on and look at the stats from last year. What are some areas that you're like, okay, coaches, like there's going to be some open competition, or we're not really sure what's going to happen here? Where does that lie this year?
I think it's just going to be a lot of competition in a lot of different spots. So last year we were, just looking to kind of fill spots and fill, time on the mound. And I think now it's like, guys got maybe a lot of opportunities last year. Now it's going to be some competition of, hey, are you getting outs for us? Hey, you're throwing strikes? Are you going deep in games for us? So, I think there's some guys that were juniors last year that maybe didn't have the greatest years that are going to have opportunities to, play a bigger role for us. A guy like Mark Patchell's back was 8-1 for us last year. Jack Mellish got up some innings. I think he's a kid to watch. I think he's going to surprise some people. And Devin DeLoach is definitely a name. I think that he's a lefty that's in the mid-80s. He plays for GRB. I think he's a guy that guys are going to definitely be surprised, like, where did this kid come from? I'm excited. I'm excited about it, but I also, humbled by our conference is going to be really tough.
Yep.
I think Hampshire, McHenry, I mean, you name it, anybody up and down Prairie Ridge has got a ton of arms back. That's another team that's going to be, a tough one. And then obviously the state champs of Crystal Lake Central, and they have a lot of guys back. So, I mean, there's no days off. Everybody in our conference is going to be ready to go, and so that's the battle. That's the, if you go, what's the weakness? The weakness is our schedule. We got to play some really tough teams, similar to some of the other, schools too, for sure. But, I'm excited with the experience. I'm excited how the guys are competing and working in the weight room in the off season. So a lot of things are pointing in the right direction. So if we can just kind of keep our head above water in the conference and prepare and get ourselves ready for the tournament, I feel good.
I mean, you speak about the conference, and it's spot on. We talk about it all the time. There are certain conferences that are loaded. The Fox Valley, ever since I've started, has been loaded. I feel like in 3A or 4A, you're going to find a Fox Valley team that makes their way to state every year almost. I think you can mark it down, which makes it even more impressive, the win totals that you're putting up every year. Like, I look at that, and it's really impressive, and you're clearly running a quality program over there. Looking at 25, like, obviously your conference games are going to be really hard. Are you traveling in the spring? Are you doing any two-team deal, three-team deals?
Yeah, we're going to go down to Marion. Like, we had been going to Myrtle Beach the last 2 years, the Ripken Classic out there. So we're going down to Marion. We play Warren down there, Johnston City. I can't remember. Murfreesboro down there. So we're playing 3 games, varsity games down there, and then we play some reserve games. I look at it as spring training. Trying to get guys reps, trying to get guys experience. So and then trying to gel that team. And so that's been another thing. I think the spring trips, going to Myrtle and doing some of those things are fun. It's fun to do some of the team building and kind of putting that team together and trying to, and that it was helpful last year to have some of the younger guys get those opportunities and maybe some less pressure games, and then you're throwing them in against a McHenry or throwing them in against a Cary Grove or Huntley. I mean, these teams that are every year just
that'll test them quick.
Yeah, they'll test them quick.
Yeah.
So I think just trying to build that and so I mean, like, it's been fun. Just to keep trying to keep working.
Love it. And one thing about the spring trips to me, you mentioned going to Myrtle, you mentioned going to Marion. Like, Marion to me is beautiful. It's 5-6 hours away maybe from Crystal Lake, but you're trying to find some warmer weather in that early March. And the beautiful thing down there is if you're playing at Rent One Park, you're on all turf.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what a good way to open up.
Absolutely.
And like you're talking about, treat it like a spring training. But are there any other guys you want to call out for this year, or any young guys coming up? I know Trevelini's a young guy playing basketball too, right? Like big-time basketball player.
Yeah, so I mentioned Nick Stowasser. I mentioned who else? Trevor Walker. Michael Silvius is another kid. He's our quarterback on the football team. I think he's a kid that, I think he's a kid that'll, look to help. He played a little bit for us in the infield. He can pitch, so I think he's another kid. He's just a really good athlete that, potentially could get some at bats. Jackson Lee is a sophomore as well. He's a catcher. Caught a little bit for us at the end of the year.
A lot of names. I love it. You're gonna have competition.
Yeah,
Coach.
So I'm excited. Yeah, so the challenge will be to try to figure out the different combinations of getting those kids on the field and trying to figure out who to have when and where. But the fun part is we'll graduate 10 this spring. At the end of the year, but we'll continue to just kind of reload and have the next group of guys ready to go.
How exciting is it? And maybe you want to talk about it, maybe you don't. But your son, he's entering high school for the first time. We've been able to see him, and he's certainly got a lot of talent to tap into down the road, and just a lot of things to be excited about.
Sure.
With the frame, left-handed bat, all that stuff. So how unique and exciting is coaching somebody coming through that's your son? Probably a new experience for you.
That is for sure. I mean, it's for sure exciting. It is a unique experience. He's a little ways away yet from varsity ball, but I mean, I do like what he's doing. He works real hard. We have the Morgan twins as well. They're freshmen.
I saw that name on there.
Those are some big guys as well. So we have some height in that group.
Okay.
But I think those guys are going to definitely help us out. Down the road, on the mound, and when we do graduate some of these innings, we'll be looking for those types of guys to probably slide in, in the next calendar year or so. But a lot of competition, and the first base slot too. I forgot about that. There's 2 juniors there. Jack Koss and Dane Chalk. One hits from the left side with Dane, and then one hits from the right side. I think those are 2 guys too that are going to surprise some people too. Dane pitched a little bit, or quite a bit for us last year. He throws from the left side, so. Yeah. But to have the chance to coach Wes and have him in the program is a lot of fun, and it's certainly unique, and I'm enjoying every day. Yeah.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to following them, especially just being a coach's kid. They tend to know the game a little bit and stuff like that. It's kind of impossible not to. But no, Coach, can't thank you enough for your time. Pete, I didn't offer you a chance to ask any questions here. Yeah.
Okay,
get in
go
here.
for it.
So, do you have a sleeper? This, like I was asking coaches, like their pick to click. I want to know if you have a sleeper that you're gonna
On
call
our-
now
on our
that you
roster?
think is
Set
gonna
to
have
go
a
off?
big year.
Yeah, I think the kid I mentioned earlier, Jack Mellish, is a kid. Yeah, he's got good stuff. I mean, he's got a good two seam. He's 82, 83. He's got a slider. It was a matter of trying to get him consistent. And last year, I think there were just opportunities that he got. He was kind of just, hey, we need you to go, and it's your turn, and kind of thrown in the fire. And so I think he's matured a lot in the off season. He had a great summer, pitches with Hit Dogs, or what Phenom this past summer, and he just had a really nice summer and good fall here. And so I'm really excited. You can just see there's just a different confidence with him on the mound. So I think he's going to be a kid that we'll rely on more so than we did last year.
Well, we got to put him on the list here.
Yeah, I
Definitely one to
appreciate it.
see.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Coach, and thanks for the relationship we've been able to build over the years. And always enjoy watching your clubs play and making it to state a couple
Yeah, I
times since
appreciate
I've been doing this. So looking forward to 2025.
Yeah, thank you so much. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Coach.
it. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.